Okay, so I wanted to react to this video because it was interesting how people are still saying that Malaysia is a growing superpower in Southeast Asia, even though I've heard so many people saying that for the past like 20 years, and we're still the same.
While the world watches China and India, Malaysia is quietly staging one of Asia's most impressive economic comebacks. The nation's prime location along crucial shipping lanes and its booming tech sector attracting substantial foreign investment are positioning Malaysia as a formidable economic force in Southeast Asia. But
Yeah, true. I think last year Google even made a deal with Malaysia to build like a $2 billion data center here, and I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but I do recall reading about how we secured like 400 billion of investments in total in 2024, I think. In this year, I think we got like 80 billion or something in the first quarter, which I personally can't tell if that's good or not. I'm not an economist, but it does sound good though. Wait, let me check because I read this recently. Investment 2024. Yeah, it was this article that I read. Malaysia records historic high 378.5 billion in investments. Kind of right on the number. I remembered it as 4 billion, close to 4 billion. So yeah, I think it's good that Malaysia is getting like traction and growing, but I'm not sure how much benefit the regular citizens though, because GDP is one thing and cost of living and jobs and salaries are another. So yeah, that's that. But let's continue.
competition between the United States and China for regional supremacy is heating up. Can Malaysia win and protect its independence? Malaysia's location has positioned it as a linchpin in global trade, with its control over the Strait of Malacca being the cornerstone of its influence.
I mean, after so many years, the Strait of Malacca is still the geographical goal of Malaysia, which is awesome.
This narrow waterway sees 80,000 vessels per year, carrying approximately 25% of global trade, making it a vital artery to the world economy. From semiconductors to oil, the strait sees all essential geopolitical goods pass through. Malaysia has actively leveraged its location for economic and diplomatic advantage. It has developed two world-class ports, Port Klang and Tanjung Pelepas, making the country a major transshipment hub.
The Straits of Malacca is being threatened by Thailand, right? They're building a canal that will bypass Malaysia. Although I feel like I've heard that for like the past 2 years and there's still no news or update on it. So I'm guessing they are just talking and not much else.
These ports serve as crucial links in international logistics chains, making Malaysia an extremely attractive destination for foreign investment.
And also tourism. Let's not forget tourism.
Economic gains. Malaysia must maintain an equilibrium between the US-China rivalry, which has become increasingly difficult as the world polarizes. This approach is rooted in the country's historical commitment to non-alignment,
especially with
allowing Malaysia to preserve its sovereignty
our stance towards Palestine and all that.
Malaysia's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years, with bilateral trade reaching $212 billion in 2024.
Also, not only are we like more friendly towards China now in terms of like business and economy, I think we even have like a type of free visa arrangement with them, meaning we can freely enter China and they can freely come to Malaysia without needing a visa for 90 days. Was it 90 days or 60? I'm not sure. It's either one of those. Personally though, as a Malaysian, I feel like the free visa relationship is a bit detrimental to us in the long run. Look at just the amount of Chinese tourists we have recently in Malaysia crashing out. I think last week there was a Chinese couple that bitch slapped an old man. So yeah, I feel like the visa thing can work, but we need to have like so much more checks and balances to like prevent problematic people like this. It's such a shame.
Simultaneously, Malaysia's security ties with the United States remain robust, exemplified by the long-standing bilateral training and consultation group agreement established back in 1984. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has emphasized the need for Malaysia to carefully navigate both relationships. But critics point to Malaysia's involvement in Chinese-funded Belt and Road infrastructure projects in pursuit of economic development.
Yeah,
These raise concerns about
we
growing
could be
Chinese
put
influence
into
and potential debt traps that have been issues sparking controversy in other BRI countries. Ibrahim and other leaders point to Malaysia's intentionally diversified military partnerships as a counter to that argument. Malaysia has enjoyed security cooperation with the United States since the 90s through numerous exchanges, joint training exercises, and visits, including cooperation in annual exercises.
You know, this reminds me of something. I don't know if you guys do this too, but I used to love watching those Malaysia and US Marine training videos on YouTube, and they always look so badass in them. Whether our troops are actually that competent or not, that's debatable.
The Malaysian Armed Forces have welcomed visits from American naval vessels and aircraft carriers, like the USS John Stennis and the USS Abraham Lincoln in the recent past. The country is also secured through the 5-power defense arrangements with Australia.
I have never
New
heard of
Zealand,
this
Singapore,
before.
and the UK, creating a multi-layered security architecture. But simultaneously,
Sounds cool though.
Malaysia has cautiously expanded military ties with China. Military links began in 1995 and have grown steadily since Malaysian and Chinese defense officials pledged to advance military cooperation in 2011. And it looks like the US may be falling behind China in regional diplomacy. Studies by the RAND Corporation reveal that China's influence in Malaysia exceed America's, placing
I mean, not surprising though. We have so many Chinese people here, and even the other races in Malaysia some of them can speak can communicate in Chinese. So I'm not surprised that we have a better relationship with China as compared to US.
Malaysia alongside Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam as countries where US influence lags. The reality comes into focus as Malaysia tries to navigate Chinese assertive actions in the South China Sea. For now, the Chinese
Okay, I know this is an insanely sensitive topic for Malaysians, and yeah, we have to maintain a good relationship with China and whatnot. But honestly, I feel like we are still way too lenient and soft when it comes to the South China Sea. Look, even though I'm a Chinese Malaysian, I still only care about the interests of Malaysians first. And the way that, how should I put this? The way we approach the South China Sea just doesn't feel strong enough. We are still being bullied by China in this area. And I feel like giving up our sovereign rights to the ocean to foreign pressure just seems pathetic. And I'm sure a lot of other Malaysians agree with me that we should not succumb to the pressure from China just because we have to maintain a good relationship with them. But that's just me.
Chinese economy is way larger, and Malaysia is going to have to get richer if they want to compete. This is a big deal.
I mean, the rich in Malaysia are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So I'm not sure what he means by that.
Just tracking you. They're determining what
okay, that's an ad.
You're allowed to see. I recently stopped using Google and switched to a search engine that has completely transformed how I research videos for this channel. Let me show you what happens when I search for Malaysia religious persecution. What's fascinating is that the results immediately show perspectives from across the political spectrum. You get coverage from multiple viewpoints, giving you the complete picture without hiding stories that don't fit the right narrative. I particularly appreciate how they clearly indicate the political leaning of each publication. This transparency helps you understand the context of information while still accessing diverse viewpoints, which is essential for anyone trying to understand complex geopolitical situations. They also just launched search results enhanced with podcasts. By incorporating playable podcast snippets, it gives you more than just news results.
Not sure how believable this so-called ad is.
Both sides of the aisle. If you search US Senate,
but I thought people always use like what, ground news?
Version eliminates intrusive tracking and
of course there's fucking premium version.
Help you navigate media bias from multiple independent monitoring organizations.
This sounds like
download the FreeSpoke app and subscribe.
a scam.
Scanning the QR code or going to the link facebook.com/Watson and get 25% off Free Spoke Premium by using my promo code Watson25.
Okay,
Malaysia's
back to the
economic
video.
transformation since gaining independence in 1957 is one of the best stories in the Eastern Hemisphere. Initially dependent on rubber and tin exports for over 90% of the country's revenue, Malaysia has evolved into
that's
a hub for advanced industries like
that's
semiconductors,
amazing
and
how far
artificial
we have come though as a
intelligence.
nation.
Now contributes
We went from
$208
tin
billion
and
to
tin mining, all the
while the
stuff to
services
like
sector accounts for nearly
becoming
55%
electronic.
of annual GDP growth. This diversification makes the country more resilient to economic shocks and less dependent on a single industry. Technology products, particularly in the semiconductor industry, have replaced rubber and tin as the country's primary exports. And among the forces powering
That I
this
did not know.
is talent from abroad. In 2023, Malaysia granted a record-breaking 154,000 expatriate passes, the highest number since 2018. Many of those workers have helped set up Malaysia's technology assembly facilities, which would be...
I mean, yeah, it's good and all that we were able to acquire a lot of like high-skilled expats that have helped to boost our technology sectors. But I feel like that doesn't directly translate to better quality of life for actual Malaysians. Sure, having a better GDP and all those economical bullshit maybe do benefit us in the long run, or yeah, maybe a stronger currency will be amazing, but it still hasn't like resolved inflation. Minimum wage still hasn't increased over the past 20 years to match the growing cost of living. Like seriously, I used to get a plate of chicken rice for like 6 ringgit. Now a plate costs 7.50, and if I want extra rice and meat, it's like 12 ringgit. How the fuck is that fair when the average salary of Malaysians are still like 2,000 to 3,000? And I used to be an architect. My salary was 2,200 ringgit, and if I wanted to get a bonus or like have my salary raised, I have to spend another 10 to 20k to get a master's degree. And even then, after spending 10 to 20k, my salary only increased to like goddamn what was it, 3,600. Like with how expensive things are getting right now, it's so insane. It's so insane to me that our salary are still so low while the fucking bosses and CEOs and politicians are getting so much money.
Considered the lower end of value-add manufacturing. But the Malaysian government has signaled its intention to move up the value chain in semiconductor production, aiming to focus on the front end of manufacturing processes, including water fabrication and photolithography. To support this
No idea
ambition,
what those
Malaysia
are.
established a National Semiconductor Strategic Task Force in 2024.
And you know what this task force is doing? Nothing aside from taking taxpayer money. Like Malaysia is so bad at like managing their money. Our government spends all this money on creating a task force for this, a special task force for this, and a special minister position for this and that, when we don't even need those. All Malaysians know this. We aren't dumb. All of this like bureaucratic positions, all of them are just for optics, to like line the wallets of your fellow constituents. Like Malaysians all know this, but we can't say shit. No, we can say shit, but we can't do shit against them, which is so annoying.
Highlighting the critical importance to the country's economic future. But their economic transformation extends.
Sorry, I'm
critical
pausing so much.
minerals sector,
I'm
increasingly
so fed up
important
with
part
this
global
type
tech
of
supply
like
chains
rhetoric.
and an area of interest in the US-China rivalry.
But
As
still a
green power
good video.
competition shifts from oil to the minerals that are essential for advanced technologies, Malaysia has positioned itself to benefit from friend-shoring initiatives. Developed economies are seeking more
Okay, I have to pause again because yeah, it's great we can contribute to the development of technology with our natural resources, but it does come at the cost of the natural beauty of Malaysia. Just look at Ipoh. It used to have some of the most scenic and beautiful mountains, but now when you drive across the highway, it's all shaved away. And not to mention the deforestation issue we have over at East Malaysia. Is it called East Malaysia? Like my Sarawakian friend is losing his home because of this deforestation. This is a joke, by the way. Sarawakians don't live on top of trees. We all know that. I'm just joking.
Secure supply chains for minerals like gallium and germanium, which are essential for high-performance chips used in defense and advanced computing applications. Malaysia has a growing role,
and yet PC components in Malaysia is so expensive.
Creates economic opportunities
Bullshit.
and geopolitical leverage. Another growth opportunity is Islamic finance, a sector that's grown by over 500% in the last decade. Malaysia has positioned itself to be at the forefront of a trillion-dollar industry based on Sharia principles, which prohibit
I actually did not know that our Islamic banking was this lucrative and influential,
by 2023,
which is interesting to learn.
$260 billion in total assets, accounting for over 30%
But why has it not benefited the Malay population?
The Islamic Financial Services Act of 2013 provides a robust regulatory framework and sets a global standard for Islamic finance governance. As a result,
okay, but why are Malays still some of the poorest demographic in Malaysia?
That generate returns without violating Sharia.
Why haven't they helped them grow?
Of the success across the whole
Penang
country,
mentioned
one island is particularly thriving. Penang is a small island occupying just 1,000 square kilometers, but it now contributes nearly 8% of the country's economic output. The region's rise as an unlikely innovation center began in the 1970s when Malaysia sought to diversify its economy beyond commodities. Penang's leaders took a calculated risk by establishing semiconductor plants and actively pursuing foreign investment. This strategic move laid the groundwork for what would become one of Asia's most dynamic tech ecosystems.
Yeah, but at the cost of destroying the natural beauty of the island. And also, the traffic jams there are insane, even compared to Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, look at how much they destroyed.
And streamlined bureaucratic processes. Decades later, the state has become renowned for high-end processes like wafer fabrication and integrated circuit design. And the state now accounts for 5% of global semiconductor exports.
I mean,
By 2023, Penang attracted over $13 billion in foreign direct investment, partially powered by its cost effectiveness compared to other tech hubs. Their lower costs of labor and well-developed infrastructure have led American semiconductor companies to maintain and expand operations within Malaysia.
Yeah, sure, those are beneficial. It provides jobs for people. And yet, the average salary for working in Penang is still only like 2,500 ringgit. But the cost of living is so much higher than that. So again, it doesn't directly benefit working class Malaysians.
Intel, whose first facility was established in Penang in 1972, announced in 2021 a
1972. Oh my god, that's actually insane. They were here so long.
Similarly, Global Foundries opened a hub in Penang to support its global manufacturing operations, while German chipmaker Infineon announced
hey, my cousin works there.
Third wafer fabrication module in Kulim. As part of a larger national strategy, the Malaysian government is committed to building upon Penang's achievements.
Wait, did he mention?
The Malaysian government for fabrication module, German chipmaker Infineon announced plans for a third wafer fabrication.
Oh yeah, he mentioned Kulim.
As part of a larger national strategy, the Malaysian government is committed to building upon Penang's achievements. Plans are underway to train an additional 60,000 high-skilled local semiconductor engineers to address labor shortages and support the growth of the tech industry nationwide. And get this, the country now produces more engineering graduates per capita than the United States and Germany. This
actually a funny story. When I was in university, whenever I visited the engineering section of the campus, the lecture halls would always be so full that my friends had to sit on the ground and the steps just to attend their classes. And mind you, the lecture halls aren't small either. It's like one of those huge halls that can fit like 100 to 100 or so people. So you can imagine how many people were taking engineering courses, and it's not even a single class. It's like 7 or 8 of the same classes occurring at the same time, which is insane. But yeah, sure, we produce a lot of engineers, but do you realize what that has caused here? Because there's so many engineers. I still have friends who can't find decent jobs, or they outright change professions to do something else. One of my friends, he was a software engineer, and he's now selling coffee. He now has a very successful coffee business, which is crazy. But for my friends that actually did find jobs as engineers, I always see them being worked to the bones, always overtime. Even on their holidays, they have to answer phones and respond to texts and take care of the factory, all those stuff. But then again, that could just be an Asian thing, because when I was an architect, I also experienced that. So yeah, maybe that is an Asian thing.
Pragmatic approach to economic development and superpower competition is allowing Malaysia to position itself as an alternative production hub for companies looking to diversify out of China.
Yeah, because we're cheap labor.
So what's stopping Malaysia from joining the ranks of Asia's other top economies? It's called the middle income trap, a phenomenon where rapidly growing economies stagnate at middle income levels, and it's been plaguing Malaysia for years. Only 9 out of 167 economies have ever successfully escaped this trap in the past 4 decades. Malaysia's total factor productivity growth has lagged behind regional competitors like South Korea and Taiwan, averaging just 0.8% compared to their 1.7% between 1970 and 2010.
Let's be honest, as a Malaysian, I know why our productivity is so bad, and I'm sure everyone else knows it too. If you ever try visiting any government office to do something, or you have worked directly or indirectly with them, they are fucking inefficient. And I'm not gonna say anything else because, like I said, everyone in Malaysia knows the reason for our lack of productivity. Also, our country and politicians are so fucking corrupt. How are we ever going to get anything done? Just look at our most infamous case, the 1MDB bullshit that Najib caused. And not only that, our goddamn government as well. I know I mentioned this already, but our entire cabinet is filled with unnecessary positions, wasting taxpayer money, and we never get any shit done. Malaysians can all smell the bullshit. It's just that we don't have a culture of calling them out because we're afraid of offending the wrong people. We all know they are lazy. We all know why our productivity is bad. Malaysians are lazy. That's it. And if we can't get past that, we will never grow.
Corruption's impact compound these issues. High-profile cases like the 1MDB scandal have tarnished Malaysia's reputation.
Yeah.
In response, the government established the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate and combat.
Again, needless bureaucracy. What has this freaking task force done? Nothing. Corruption is still rampant across Malaysia. Where were they? Where were the corruption task force? Like we still have politicians that are corrupt as fuck and they are not apprehended or anything. Like Malaysians are so tired with this bullshit. We all know it. They all know it. Everyone knows it.
Graft. While poverty reduction efforts have achieved some success, bridging the gap between wealthy and the middle class has proven more challenging. Efforts to streamline bureaucracy, improve education, and foster a more competitive business environment are underway, but they will need to be well executed for Malaysia to have a chance of becoming the 10th country to escape middle income.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to succeed in at least another 10 to 20 years. Or at least we need a better leader that isn't part of the old guard. We need younger people
in tomorrow's Asia, the countries
that knows what it's like to be working class in Malaysia. Not those politicians and not those nepo babies in politics. Yeah, I like this video a lot. He provided some insightful comments on the economic status of Malaysia. And he got a few things right as well. Although I can't blame him because he's obviously not Malaysian, so he doesn't understand internally how far we still have to go as a nation and how bad the corruption is here right now. And also, another reason that he did not mention, whether intentionally or not, is that no one wants to invest in us right now because of racial and religious issues. Like, look at all the news recently of how volatile it has become. But yeah, I'm pretty sure other Malaysians agree with this sentiment as well. We're tired of the bullshit politicians. We're tired of the racial bullshit, the religious bullshit, all of that. We're just tired and want things to get better for us.